Paul's here now with another installment of Stories of Service.
You know, 16 million Americans served in the armed forces during World War II, and we've met men who fired everything from bazookas to rifles to machine guns to flamethrowers, and some fired from ships, from tanks, from planes. One of the veterans we featured even shot down a plane from the top of a wrecker truck. As for Fresno's Bill Kelliher, while he carried a .45, the only thing he was shooting during the war was film.
I got my first speed graphic when I was 12 years old. Got in the Marine Corps and I thought sure that I would go into the photographic section, but they put me into the movie section, and I didn't know beans from bananas about it to begin with.
Bill Kelliher was a 21-year-old newspaper photographer for the Kansas City Journal when he enlisted in the Marine Corps in August of 1942. Shooting moving pictures wasn't too tough of an adjustment, but it would be no Hollywood movie set he was working on. His literal trial by fire, gunfire, would come in the Gilbert Islands at Tarawa, a battle memorialized in an acclaimed book as 1 square mile of hell.
Where we landed on Red Beach 3, the piers, 2 piers came out from the shore, and we were being hit by frontal and crossfire all the way in. We had a camera belt, had a holster for our .45s, and we had another holster that our cameras would fit into, and we had these canisters of film that we were carrying. We had to stand up to keep our cameras and film dry.
The tiny island had been bombarded by American ships and planes for days, but the well-fortified Japanese were dug in and determined. Standing up to keep his film dry made Bill, in theory, an easy target. He still can't figure out how none of the cameramen in his unit were hit as they waded 600 yards to shore.
The guys were just getting mowed down all around us. The sea actually was red with blood. The sea was red. When we got ashore, we were the only photographers there. You didn't have to do, all you had to do was aim your camera, and the action was there.
Before he could even start rolling film, Bill witnessed something that remains in his mind as the epitome of courage and valor.
One of the very first things I saw was a Marine had been hit, and a corpsman was working on him right on that little beachhead that we had. That corpsman got shot in the face. I mean, it just took part of his face away. And he stopped and put his hand up to his face like that, you know. He reached in and he got one of these big bandages that they use. He put it up and just kind of held it in place, and then he went back to work. Couldn't believe it.
The emotions are still as raw and powerful today as they were in November of 1943.
That went on all the time. You saw that sort of thing all the time. I'm sorry. I saw that with my eye, through the eye. I didn't get the picture of it, and it's unfortunate because, I mean, as far as I was concerned, that guy deserved a medal right then and there.
There was plenty that he would get pictures of. In fact, you've been watching some of the footage that Bill and his fellow combat cameramen shot. The battle lasted less than 4 days, but cost 1,001 Marines their lives and saw more than 2,000 wounded. Of the over 4,500 Japanese there, only 17 were left alive to surrender. The moving pictures captured the costly victory in brutal detail, and President Roosevelt thought it would help the war effort if the folks back home could get a taste of the front lines. He had the film edited into a documentary, With the Marines at Tarawa, which would win an Academy Award for Best Documentary Short Subject in 1944. Both the original Oscar, made out of plaster and wood because metal was needed for the war, and the Oscar as we know it now are on display at the Museum of the Marine Corps in Virginia. Bill and the other cameramen were never given statuettes, and he'd never asked for one either. What he does have is a poem he wrote after the war ended. He's carried it in his wallet since 1945. The entire poem, entitled Marine Corps Pal of Mine, will be published in an upcoming issue of Leatherneck magazine. But the sentiment behind it, his admiration for the men he served with, was evident when he shared its final lines.
He beat him in the jungles and he whipped him in the sky. And if he died, he showed him how a leatherneck should die. His name might be O'Shaughnessy, Levinsky, or Plainsmith. The chaplains didn't ask him what church he worshipped with, but if perchance Another man now holds his place in line. We'll hear him whisper from above, "Good luck, pal." Sorry.
That's just amazing.
Yeah, and Bill, never apologize for your love for your country and for your fellow Marine. Semper Fi. He was a great American, and thank you for sharing your story with us, Bill, and thank you for your service to our country. And we'll see what we can do about trying to get that Oscar for him. I think he deserves it.
Oh, I think that by far that is amazing footage, and I'm just stunned that he's kept that poem for that long, and you can see that it's been through a lot with him.
And it's a great poem too. I'll tell you when it's in that magazine, and you can pick a copy up.